Hello, everybody. So I'm Raphael, and one of the co-founders of the MIMA. We are four co-founders. So there is Alice Van den Abel, Florence Delanoy, and Michel Delanoy. And the idea came up in 2014 when Michel and Florence came at our gallery with the idea of a museum. They are cultural entrepreneur, not from the contemporary art world, more in the theater. And they came up with this idea. And to be honest, in the beginning, we were not really sure about the idea. But to be honest, the first reason why we said, okay, it could be a nice idea, is probably, I think, because I'm getting older and I have a family. And like parents, we all have this kind of fear, you know, the fear about ecology, about global politics, about economy. And so this kind of fear, we know that we can find a solution, but humanity will find a solution only on a global level. And we know that there's no economy, there's no politics without a culture before. So because we are in the culture domain, we thought, okay, let's do something for the future. Let's try something at least. And that's why we say, okay, let's do this museum. So things, since the idea in 2014, the first, that was really the first discussion about it. And in 2015, Michel found a building along the canal. And that was the building, and really quickly we start the renovation. It was something quite a lot of work because we're renting the space, and so we were obliged to really finish the work because we have a rent to pay. So that was really a big rush. And soon we found the building. We immediately start to contact artists for the first exhibition. For the first exhibition, we contact 4 artists from Brooklyn. And yeah, you know, so that's the renovation. It's always the same when you have this kind of projects. With not that much money to do the show, you need to find other subject of excitement for the artist. And that's the reason why we asked 2 artists who knows each other. Because the idea was, okay, if they don't come for the money, maybe they will come because they are a bunch of friends. And it's more the spirit of like a music band to create this kind of atmosphere to set up the exhibition. So we invited the artists. It was in 2015, as I say, in mid-2015. And we tell them, okay, you know Brussels, okay, but in the center of Brussels, we open a museum along the canal. They arrived in February 2016 and start immediately to work on the exhibition. And yeah, with a lot of pleasure. It was quite difficult because it was really cold, barely no electricity. It was quite difficult for them, but they did it with a great enthusiasm. And you know, when you work like that for weeks, finally, you discovered a neighborhood. And that was something because they worked during the day, making parties the night, making some graffiti around the museum. So finally, I remember they told us, okay, you know, it's great. I like the place. It's looked like Brooklyn 20 years ago. You know, it's a bit dirty, but you feel its freedom. They were really excited. That was really, and we were really happy because it brings what we need, the energy to, you know, to work 100% on the project. And everything was fine, and working together, and so the time passed, and until this day, it was on Friday the 18th of March, the police arrest Salah Abdeslam 2 blocks from the MIMA. And suddenly the artists realize they are in Molenbeek. And that was quite new because, you know, when we contact the artists, nobody knew Molenbeek. But then between this time and the moment they arrived in Brussels, we had the Parisian attack. So in the rush, we realized we didn't mention that. I don't know exactly why, but we didn't mention. So we had to explain why we are in Molenbeek. And we said, okay, you know, what happened is, for us, against the flow of history. The situation here is improving, and look at the neighborhood. You have you were in the neighborhood and you like it. I mean, it's multicultural, and you like the feeling. So they agree with us. Nevertheless, they have to convince the family in New York, and that was more difficult at this time. So we succeed to still finish the work, because that was really important to you know, finish the exhibition. So we did the last touch to finish the show, and then yeah, we are ready. We are ready, and it's at this moment, yeah, that was part of the exhibition. For the one who saw the exhibition, it was in the basement. And so yeah, that's the moment where the show is done, set up. We are really happy of that. And I wake up in the morning, and really exciting, because the first day was dedicated for journalists. We had 50 journalists waiting for the press conference. And during the breakfast, I opened the radio, and I heard that Brussels is under a terrorist attack. And at this moment, yeah, that was really difficult for everybody, because the feeling for everybody, I mean, the context, the situation was horrible for everybody. And so quickly at 9:30, we decided to cancel the opening. And yeah, for days, we were in this situation with, on top of the feeling that everybody felt, we had this Gerald in a coffin, and we didn't know what to do, if the project has a chance to live or not. And so yeah, after a few days, we decided finally to open the 15th of April. And since the beginning, we had a lot of people came immediately at the opening, and during and until today. I mean, we're really happy, really proud to succeed to attract a lot of public at the museum. But I have to say that the first week we had this. A lot of people came because the museum was in Molenbeek, and it was a kind of sign of resistance, of protests, to go to Molenbeek, to cross the canal. I didn't realize that myself. It was such a point, such a statement for people to come in Molenbeek. And it was a little bit the same with the media. I mean, the media came to us, and suddenly we became the speaker for Molenbeek. We just opened the door. And it was quite embarrassing, because it was like, oh, that's the guys who bring the light in the darkness. There's no darkness here. That was really difficult to accept the situation. Of course, the museum was assembled at this moment. It was maybe the first good news since a long time in Brussels. Nevertheless, I mean, there's no darkness in Molenbeek. The thing is, the reason why we are in Molenbeek is because it reflects the energy of the museum. If you look at Molenbeek on a small scale, with all the different communities, the mosaic of different cultural identities, it's a little bit like the world, the humanity. And if you look at Molenbeek and you consider the level of poverty, you can consider it's a success that people live together in such a good way. Because, of course, there is a problem with the poverty. Nevertheless, people live together in a really nice harmony. That's the reason why we choose to be in Molenbeek, because I believe that Molenbeek is our bright future. The bright future, because the youth belong to Molenbeek, and everything, the position, everything seems to point this place to be the future. And for the museum, it's a little bit the same. I think what we see in Molenbeek is a little bit what we try to achieve with the museum, is to find bridge above every different singularities. We believe that we have different identities, but we can create cultural value that we can share all together above all singular identities. That's really important. I had my own experience of that, of what can bring social diversity. It was back in the days, I was in the early 20s, so it's really, really a long time ago. It was before the Euro. And I was learning the welding to make pipelines. And the students were unemployed like me, and a prisoner. So in the beginning of the courses, everybody stayed in his clan, a little bit like in jail, I guess. And so, yeah, the atmosphere was not really relaxed. And I don't know how it came, but so, at a lunchtime, one day, I remember this big guy who came with this idea. We're going to buy all together a lottery ticket. Okay, because all together we have more chance to win the big jackpot of the week. So I felt a little bit obliged, like everybody, to pay something for this ticket, the price of a lunch. And I'm not an expert in the lottery, but after the weekend, when we saw the results of the lottery, we were amazed, because we succeeded in a way to not have one single winning number on the ticket. So it became a joke between us, because, wow, we're able all together to reach this point. So suddenly the group had an identity. We were the supreme losers. And we like it, because that was something that was really above all expectation. And of course, I think that was a good issue. Imagine if you won the ticket. I cannot imagine what could happen. So that was really a great experience. I recall that was also our own initiative. It's not something that came from above. It's not someone who suggests us to do something to create this community of people. No, it was our own initiative, and we did it. And since this day, it was a pleasure to go there and to learn together. Really something that is deeply in my heart, a really important point for me. And later, with my wife, Alice van den Abel, we opened a gallery at the end of Donsard Street. Now maybe some of you know the street. There's the Fabrica over there, and there's a bus stop just in front of the window. And we try to, the idea was also to create this kind of community. The idea behind it was to present, to defend this new culture emerging from this double revolution we saw at the Millennium. This double revolution is the revolution of the communication, internet, mobile phone, low-cost travel, and the revolution of energy, the sustainable energy. And as Jeremy Rifkin says, when you have this double revolution, the society changes rapidly. and it changed our mind. And that's what we want to present at the gallery. That was this new way of life. Even the idea of the gallery came after a city trip, and we found, oh, that's great. We like this new kind of artist culture. We didn't know how to call it even that, because those artists from subculture don't define themselves like from subculture. When you are a young artist, you do some graffiti, but you do some music, you do some studio work, and at the end, you don't want to be tagged as the street artists. I mean, the culture we speak about is shaking the categorize, and we were really excited to present that. That's the reason why we had on the ground floor a shop, because that was important to present. Back in the day, to present the culture in a wide angle, because it's for those artists. The idea was to taking over every creative domain possible. Could be the street, to show your name, but it could be also working with the brands, making design for a sleeve. So that was the idea of the sculpture. The sculpture was defined with a more empathic feeling, more collaborative, more also transversal. That was really important. That's something we really want to present in the gallery, and because that's we saw the shop. That's what we had, this courtyard, and then downstairs. Now there is a really nice showroom, but we had this place, the first gallery, in fact, and I really like it because I mean that's details, but look at the light, the way the electricity. That was something really crazy. That we did. I did it myself. It was with the light you use for the garden, and in fact it was really dangerous. But we didn't need any warming system because the light was so hot that it was like in Florida. So the idea was to create this atmosphere. Since the beginning, we had a huge success of public. Why? Because it was not the art lovers. It was everybody having interest in the artistic domain. People from tattoo, from skateboarding, graphic designer, architects. That was really a wide audience. And also, it was important for us to not only present the artwork, but also what I call a culture. A culture is really nice when you have all the artistic domain melting together. So we did a lot of concerts. That was really something we liked. And the atmosphere was really high. So that's, in 2010, we moved, we changed the gallery. Now we are in this Rue du Pays de Liège in Sainte-Catherine area. And we have a new space gallery, more flexible. And now it's, we start again making all those gigs, and I really enjoy that. So with the MIMA, when we had the idea of the MIMA, we think, okay, we should apply the same philosophy to the MIMA. It means, for me, two things. I mean, I have immediately these two consequences that should be noticed. If you speak about a new culture, you speak, for me, about a new cultural, economic model. And you speak also of a new history of art. The new economic model for us is to have different sources of income. So we have the sponsor, the partnerships. We privatize the space. We have 10% of subsidies, and then we have 50% of the incomes come from the ticket entrance. It's really important because without public, we don't exist. And without public, we don't need to exist because we want to have an impact on society. So we think it's important to find this balance between the public and the museum. If you don't support the public, you don't need the project. So that was really important to try to think like that. And I want to speak about the money in art. We don't speak enough about money in art. Don't get me wrong. If you read the papers, we always read this art piece cost a fortune, so it should be a nice piece. But that's not what I'm talking about. That doesn't have any kind of interest for me, and it's purely fake. I think it's not interesting. No, when I say we should speak about the money, I say that an artist and a visitor should always see the piece itself, but also the context around. That's really important for an artist. If you have a political speech, you cannot just do your piece of work in the studio, give it to the gallery and say, okay, now it's not my problem. No, you have to know what are buyers, in which system you belong to. The same, who finances an institution. I think all those matter really count. It's like, for me, if you see a stencil of Banksy in the street, if it's on the wall of a church, of the wall of Gaza, the meaning is not different. The context is important. So it's really important to see it with the context. Another example, but the fish on my plate, I like to read, to know where it comes from. And I like to know that it belongs to sustainable economy. For me, what is good for food is good for art. So that's the idea. We should always be aware of this, of the system we belong to. I'm not speaking about purity. I mean, I speak about integrity. That's important. I'm not. It's really important. I'm not speaking about a pure model, because I think purity is fascism. Some corruption, we need some corruption on a certain level, but it needs to be balanced, and we need to know until where we can be, we need to evaluate this degree. So yeah, that's about the money, the philosophy of this new culture apply to the finance of the museum. And also there's another point, is the history of art. I think the history of art is changing a lot with this philosophy. I'm sure that we have, at the MIMA, the best program you could never have. The MoMA cannot do better than us at Molenbeek. And I'm telling you why. Because I base that on like in astrophysics, these 3 rules in astrophysics. If you think about the space, these 3 rules. First rule is the physics rules are the same in every corner of the space. That's important. Second rule, there's no center in the space. And the third rule, there's no better point of view than yours. If you can apply that to astrophysics, I think we can apply that also to history of art. We don't have to forget that the result is we present, we think local, so we present some kind of artworks, and like in astrophysics, the story can be universal, but the piece of art itself are not. That's a local appreciation. We can change any piece in the art collection, the speech will stay the same. That's really important. It means we're not anymore in the age of genius, the genius. The artist is a genius. That doesn't exist anymore for me. So to a context, the artist, the piece you place next to him, etc., etc. So that's for me really important to think about. So when we today it's almost a year now. The museum is open, and I remember we had in the beginning, before we opened, we had some critics. And it was always the same kind of critics. It came mainly from the art world itself. The critics was, okay, but you're not allowed to open a museum. You haven't worked in an institution, no political connection. You're not linked with the art markets. I mean, we have a gallery, but we didn't create a museum like an extension of the local art markets. And so that was, the critic was, to summarize the critic is, you don't have the permission to do that. But what I'm thinking is, it's wrong. I mean, today, we are our own politicians. We can do whatever we want. We are the change. I think I really strongly believe in this bottom-up revolution. We can change the world now. That's really important, and that's what the MIMA is about. It's a project, a bottom-up project. It will exist if communities want to support it. Otherwise, there's no, it's pointless. So, as I say, hasta la vista, hasta la revolution. Thanks you.